Hello everyone, and welcome to part 9 of The Firework Maker's Daughter by Philip Pullman. In part 8 of the story, Lila met with Razvani the fire fiend, and he told her that the raw sulphur isn't real, and that the things that she thought she needed in life in order to be a good firework maker were just an illusion. But what is an illusion? An illusion is something that we think is real, but isn't really. Razvani said that the whole world is an illusion. Is he right? Well, we feel, don't we, as if we are standing still on our planet, when really we are spinning. Our whole planet is spinning. So that's an illusion, isn't it, that we're standing still? What else do you think might be an illusion? Do you think that some of the negative thoughts that we have about ourselves are just illusions? Let's see what happens in the rest of the story. Illusions, Lila. Fire burns away all our illusions. The world itself is all illusion. Everything that exists flickers like a flame for a moment and then vanishes. The only thing that lasts is change itself. There is no raw sulphur. It's an illusion. Everything outside of the fire is illusion. But the 3 gifts, I don't understand. What are the 3 gifts, Razvani? Whatever they are, you must have brought them to me, he said. And that was the last thing she heard from him, for as he said that, he dwindled away and the lake of fire darkened and became red rock and then just rock. And all the myriad fire imps became little feeble sparks that floated aimlessly for a second and sank and went out at once. The grotto was bare again. Lila turned away from where the fire had been. She was dazed and disappointed, calm and curious, pleased and puzzled. In fact, she didn't know what she felt or who she was for a moment. Then she saw Chulak and she ran to him. Chulak, you saved my life. And you're hurt, you're burned. Let me help you. He was shaking his head and tugging at her hand. Don't waste any time, he said. We've got to hurry. Tell her as we go, Hamlet. They stumbled out of the grotto into the pale light of dawn, and Hamlet said, I'm sorry, Lila. I heard the birds talking at the foot of the mountain, and they said, Look, the white elephant. That's the very one who escaped from the city. And I asked the bird what he knew, and he said, the firework maker helped you to escape. Someone saw and told the king, and now Lalchand has been arrested and he's going to be executed. Then he flew away to tell the other birds, Lila, we've got to go back as fast as we can. Don't waste time blaming anyone. Get on my back and hold tight. So in a torment of fear that put Razvani and the royal sulphur and the 3 gifts completely out of her mind, Lila clambered up next to Chulak on the elephant's back and held on tight as Hamlet began to slither down the mountain in the light of dawn. How they did it, Lila never knew. They stopped only for Hamlet to drink deeply from the river, while Lila and Chulak snatched some fruit from the trees overhanging the bank. But after hours and hours of pounding and trudging and half running on blistered feet, they came to the outskirts of the city. The sun was setting. Of course, Hamlet attracted a lot of attention as soon as he was seen, because everyone knew that the white elephant had escaped. Soon they were surrounded by a curious crowd, all trying to touch Hamlet for luck, and before they'd got anywhere near the palace, they could move no further. Lila was nearly weeping with fear and impatience. Have they killed my father yet? Is Lalchand still alive? She asked. But no one knew. Move out the way, Chulak shouted. Clear a space there, make room. But they could only move forwards an inch at a time. Chulac could feel Hamlet getting angry, and he feared he wouldn't be able to control him. He stroked the elephant's trunk to try to keep him calm. Then they heard shouts and the clash of swords from somewhere ahead, and the crowd parted at once. Word has reached the palace, and the king had sent his special and particular bodyguard to escort Hamlet back to his royal home. "About time too," said Chulac to the general in charge. "Come on, we're in a hurry. Clear the streets. Stand aside." So the three of them, burned and blistered and dusty and exhausted, were escorted into the palace by the splendidly uniformed bodyguard, who tried to look as if they'd found Hamlet all by themselves. Poor Lila's heart was beating like a bird caught in a net. "Prostrate yourselves," said the special and particular general. "Grovel. Faces to the ground, especially yours, boy." They knelt on the stones of the courtyard in the light of flaming torches, and the special and particular guard lined up to present arms as the king came in. His Majesty stood in front of them. Lila could see his golden sandals, and then her anxiety got too much for her, and she knelt up and she said in anguish, "Please, your Majesty, my father, Lalchand, he isn't... Is he still alive?" The king looked down sternly. "He will die tomorrow morning," he said. "There's only one penalty for what he has done." "Oh, please, please spare his life. It was my fault, not his at all. I ran away without telling him and—" "Enough," said the king. And he was so frightening that they stopped, just like that. Then he turned to Chulac. "Who are you?" he said. Chulac got up at once, but before he could begin to speak, a special and particular guard forced him down again. "I'm Chulac, your Majesty," he said. "Can I look up? It's not easy to speak with a foot on my neck." The king nodded, and the guard stood back. Chulac knelt up beside Lila and said, "Oh, that's better. You see, your Majesty, I'm the elephant's special and particular groom, in a manner of speaking. He's a delicate beast, and if he's handled wrong, there's no end of trouble. And as soon as I found out he'd escaped, I set off at once. Your Majesty, I swam across the river, and I climbed mountains, and I fought my way through the jungle." Suddenly, all the breath was knocked from Chulac's body, and he sprawled on the ground again. Something soft had knocked him in the middle of the back, and he knew that it was Hamlet's trunk. Hamlet had never done that to him before, and he rolled over in surprise to see the elephant giving him a special and particular look, and then he realised what he must do. He struggled up again and faced the king. "Your Majesty, the elephant has just made a request. He and I have got this unusual way of communicating, you see. He's asking for an audience alone with your Majesty." Even the special and particular general could hardly restrain a snigger at the idea of an animal asking to speak to the king, but he changed it into a cough when the king glared at him. "Alone?" the king said to Chulac. "Yes, your Majesty." "The white elephant is a rare and wondrous beast," the king said. "For his sake, I shall grant his request. And if it turns out that you are playing a joke on me, you may be certain that tomorrow morning you will have very little to laugh about. General, take these two outside and leave me alone with the elephant." The guards hauled Lila and Chulac out of the courtyard and into the kitchen compound, where the smell of grilling meat and spices reminded them both that they hadn't eaten in 24 hours. "Don't worry," said Chulac. "Hamlet will explain everything." "Is he going to talk to the king then? I thought that his talking was a great secret." And we will find out next time whether Hamlet really does talk to the king and what he says. Do you think that animals have speech? Have a think about that, and we will talk about it next time. Bye-bye.